right, so I'm coming to the tail end of the composition, I suppose. And there's this one area over here that seems to be unactivated, right? I just need to activate this space with something. So I've utilized all of the forms that I wanted to use, such as the cone, the pyramid, the cylinder, the sphere, and the hexagonal prism. Now I'm just going to go back to something different. And the cube, or maybe more of a cuboid. So I'm going to make another version of a cuboid, but it's going to be about this big. I'm not exactly sure where it is going to be for location, but I'll just give you an idea. So I'm going to wedge, there's a cylinder going back in space there. So I'm going to wedge something right on the side, and it's going to be a rectangle, and it's kind of come down about that deep. And as it comes down, it's going to activate that space. That's all I need to activate that space. And I think it will kind of counterbalance up here well, and let's see what happens. So the first thing I'm going to do is just a quick sketch, and this is kind of the angle of my cylinder going back in space, and basically I have a cube that I think I'm going to not a cuboid. Now I'm probably going to do something like this. So you can see where these are overlapping. Anywhere along this line, basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to curve where it feels like this is just kind of wedged into the side. I could wedge it in multiple ways. I could wedge it here where it just feels like, actually I think I like that better. I'll just draw this first. I could wedge it here, but basically it's going to follow the same curve as this. So I could wedge it here, and it's just basically going to be the same, something like that. And then I would erase this, and then there's that, right? It's kind of hanging out. Or I could wedge it here, and I could stop it here, and it would look like this. And then this would kind of come back full circle. So I think that's a little bit more interesting. I like that because I like the top plane that I had before here, and that still exists, but I just like how it crops off more of the object. So I think I might go with this guy. So where do I want to wedge this thing, and where do I want, because now I'm starting to get specific about composition. I think I want the base of it to be about, or the left side of it to be about right here. Okay, so I'll put that about right here. It's going to maybe crop in about right here, something like that. So I'm kind of sketching this in. And then it's just going to come full circle. And then it's going to do one of these things and then go out like that. Now, my question is, I know this is lightly put in here, and I don't know if you can see this from the camera angle, but this, I don't like how this meets at the same point as that. So what I'm going to do is I could either shorten it to here, or I could lengthen it past there to here. And if I lengthen it, then I run the risk of these being on the same line. I don't like that either. So I think I'm going to go with the shorter version now. And if I feel like adding more, if I have to add more to it once I finish, then I will. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw this in, and I'm going to draw it using this blue, just so you can see what I'm doing at home the same way I drew this one here. And I can always change my colors as I feel like it. But right here, I'm just going to draw a line straight up. That represents the corner. I didn't say I was going to go that long. It's going to go about right there. The next corner is going to be about right here, and I already have an orange line there. The nice thing about this is I don't have to do the slide technique as much because I have so many lines that I can just kind of use to my advantage. All right, so I'm going to put a line right here. Is that a straight line? Nope, that was not a straight line. Didn't look straight. A little trick. If you have to adjust the line and you can't erase the old easily, then you cover what you want with a piece of paper, and then you erase right on top of it. It protects the line that you want to keep and takes away the line that you don't. All right, now I'm going to use my slider to put these other diagonals in. Nice thing about these rectangular forms is you can make them as thin or thin as you want and kind of play around with scale. And you can create a lot of variety just by doing that. So right now I'm just putting the rest of my angles in. Oops, kind of slid on me. All right, so I have the front of this cuboid, and where do I want it to end? It doesn't really matter because I'm going to run that down into it. So, sorry, I'm just thinking out loud here. I think I'm just going to have it end. I'm going to use this line here, this red line that already exists, and use it as the ending point. So I don't have to, oops, I missed it. Right here. And then from this point down, I'm going to drop a line vertical. But I'm going to hold this way because my head keeps covering. Okay, that's what I can see. All right, I have my rectangle in here. I think I'm going to switch to the color green just so you can see what the heck I'm doing. And can't tell if I have there's a lighter green. I think I'll use the darker green just so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so this is, just to review, this is the rectangle. It's blue and it's vertical. What I'm going to do is it's overlapping this. I want to end it right here, so I'm just going to put a dot right there. Okay? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run that line over to the other side. Since I have so many diagonal lines, I can pretty much make it parallel to something that exists. So you can see that green line. That's going to be my starting point right here. That represents this line right here. And then this will follow the same curve, but I just can't throw it in, right? I have to draw this whole entire thing again, but that's fine. And this isn't necessarily the top. This is where the ellipse meets it right here. So how do I know where this curve starts? I'm going to follow, I'm actually going to switch to my lighter value here of green. I'm going to follow this line right into the circle here, okay? Because this is going to go up past there, but it's telling me where this is located. So what I'm going to do next is, I'm starting to get confused with all of my lines here. So if this is the top part, so what I'm trying to do now, this green line, I'm following it in, and I'm using this circle here, or ellipse. And if I draw a line in this direction going across this way, right? It's telling me how much of this top of the ellipse is sticking out. It's basically what's going to be happening here. So the top of the ellipse, I think, is about right there. That's a safe bet. That's going to allow me to draw my rectangle in. What I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to use red here, just so everybody can see, again, what I'm doing. And I'm going to draw the tops of the rectangle, which is going to be an ellipse. And if you remember, this orange line here and here, it represents this original sphere. And that's basically what I'm trying to mimic. I'm just getting a portion of that sphere. So that red line I just drew meets this line here. And this is probably very confusing for everybody at home. I'm sure it is. It goes down till here. Put little dots just so everybody can kind of see what the heck I'm doing. And then it comes full over again, but in this case, I don't really have anything to line it up with, so I'm going to have to slide. Get out of here. Oops. And then I'm going to drop a line straight down, and it should meet that red line that I just put in there. Okay, so if you can see this at home, this red circle here is what I'm doing. There's going to be another one behind it. But for now, I'm just going to put this guy in, and I can draw the other one behind it later. So right now, I'm going to cross my corners. I'm going to do that with my green fella here. Cross my corner. across my corner, finds my center, draw a line in this direction through the center. And a line vertical through the center. Okay. Now I can, and it's probably hard for you to see this at home because I'm using this green, but this diagonal line right here, I'm going to divide in half and then half again. And I'm going to divide in half here and in half again. This is going to give me my points to connect, half again. You really have to concentrate when you're at this point stage of the game because it's easy to make a mistake. That's why we're using colored pencils, but even so, the center point, yeah. You can see I'm following my green all the way around. And when I follow this around, it's the third mark, the 3/4 mark that I'm connecting. What I mean by that is, if you look on this diagonal, I half it and then I half it again. That's basically 3/4 of the way up this diagonal line from the center to the corner. And I do that on all the diagonal. And I call them the diagonals, even though this is a diagonal line. But if I was looking at this straight on, they would be the diagonals. The one going towards the corners. The other ones that go dissect it in half, they stay the same. These dots remain. So now I'm going to get my green pencil and I'm going to start to put the circle in. And when I put the circle in, it's staying right along the edge here. And just kind of blends in. I don't have to finish all the way around for the moment. I'm just going to stop right now, but it's going to blend into the edge. You can see I was a little short, but I just kind of fudged it so it would kind of blend right into the line of the cylinder right there. So basically, right where this green line meets the blue line, which probably I was a little off because I put the line in first to figure out where the ellipse was going to be. And now that the ellipse is in, the ellipse just maybe intersects it just a little bit later. I'm talking like a 32nd of an inch later. So it's going to change where that is and put it in. There you go. That's a little better now. Now it goes from here to here, and you can see it a little more clearly. So if I get my dark blue, I can start to outline the form, and you will be able to see what I'm doing. And that's basically it, which isn't as easy as it sounds. So I'm going to get my blue pencil, because it's my darkest one, outline this guy here. And I'm going to outline the baby blue line that I made before. Make that a little darker. And I might have to do some erasing. For example, this line, this corner from the box, or this cuboid here, is not going to be there anymore. So I'm going to take that out. You can't see it. It's underneath. To be honest, I can't even. Oh yeah, it is right there. So that's fine. Now I'm just going to put this back in, and then once I put all this back in, you'll be able to see everything a lot more clearly. And that's it. So this is where I want to ask myself, is this enough to activate the space? Do I need to go further down? I don't want it to be in the same line as this corner. Maybe I could add another form right here to bring the eye down and up. I don't know yet, but for now I'm just going to leave it as is. This is the curve. Do I need this dark red line there anymore? I can lighten it up just so it doesn't compete too much, but you can still see that it's there. So that's it. That's it. That's not it. I just realized something. So where I drew this, little did I know, because I think there's so much confusion going on right here, I got a little confused myself. But the corner of this actually shouldn't be there because it's hitting the plane of this, what do you call it? Cuboid here. And so the reality of it is that it's going to hit it about right here, and then it's going to carry over to the other side like that. So I actually erased this. I didn't even see that. And it might be such a small moment of a wedge, because not only is this wedging into the cylinder, it's also wedging into the cuboid that exists there. But it's such a small moment that I might extend this a little higher so it wedges in a little bit more. I think that would be a better solution, just so you can kind of see that change. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to erase this. And this is what happens when you add more. You have to make decisions or change things up a smidge. But I think if I just take it up a little bit to here, here, and I wonder if I should have done it even a little bit more. So that's a vertical line. I just kind of eyed that, so let me just put that in, make sure it's vertical. All right, that's better. Okay, that makes so much more sense, because now if I were to make this transparent, this is meeting into the form, which is continuing on and going in that way. All right, that makes a lot more sense.